A very good evening. You're watching Primetime News on TV1 live and direct from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. Bringing you the news, I'm Joad Abdin.
And I'm Naveksha Gunasekara. Here are your headlines for tonight.
Government to provide land and financial support for rebuilding homes. 25,000 rupee education grant for every disaster-affected student. Stern action against social media misinformation. 57 cases under probe. Over 470 lives lost as relief and rescue operations continue nationwide. The Sirasa Shakti Sahana Yatra flood relief convoy airlift supplies to remote areas. Aid by land and water continues. Scrap IMF conditions. Call Trump immediately. Bring a new budget, says Sajid. Severe storms and torrential rain ravage South and Southeast Asian nations.
And on to those stories in detail. In your top story this evening, a supplementary estimate was presented to Parliament this evening to allocate the necessary provisions for overcoming the national crisis triggered by the recent emergency disaster situation. Earlier today, during a special cabinet meeting, approval was granted for this proposal, paving the way for urgent relief and recovery measures.
ගරු කතානායකතුමනි පසුගිය දිනවල මුළු දිවයින පුරාම පැවති ඉතාමත් අයහපත් කාලගුණික තත්ත්ව හේතුවෙන් දැනට පැන නැගී ඇති.
Honourable Speaker, in recent days, severe weather conditions have battered our island, leaving us in the midst of an unexpected national disaster. The livelihoods of our people have been gravely affected, and urgent measures are required to restore normalcy and provide immediate relief. Accordingly, a supplementary estimate was presented at the special cabinet meeting held this evening, and cabinet approval has been duly granted. In line with Standing Orders 22-4, I now table the supplementary estimate before the House. I propose that it be referred to the Committee on Public Finance for further consideration. The supplementary estimate, along with cabinet approval, will be tabled in all 3 languages for the record.
පරිපූර්ණක ඇසමේන්තුවත් කැබිනට් අනුමැතිය ලබාගත් කැබිනට් පත්‍රිකාවත් භාෂා ත්‍රිත්වයෙන්ම මේ සමග සභාගත කරනවා.
The government has decided to provide 25,000 rupees per child for educational needs to every school-going child affected by the recent natural disasters.
According to the Presidential Media Division, this financial assistance will be disbursed through the President's Fund. Meanwhile, Public Security Minister Anand Vijaypal announced that families living in high-risk areas will be allocated alternative land plots. He further stated that the government will also provide financial assistance for constructing houses on these lands, ensuring the safety and security of affected families. In addition, the Ministry of Industries has initiated steps to collect data on fully and partially damaged industries due to the disaster. All district and divisional secretariats have been instructed to submit this information before 2 p.m. on the 16th of December 2025 via the official website www.industry.gov.lk. Following the severe weather conditions and resulting disasters, the government has declared several administrative districts as national disaster affected areas through an extraordinary gazette notification. The gazette has been issued under Section 9 of Part 2 of the Registration of Deaths, Temporary Provisions Act No. 19 of 2010. Accordingly, the districts of Kandy, Nuwara, Badulla, Kurunegala, Matale, Kegol, Gampaha, Mullaitivu, Anuradhapura, Colombo, Jaffna, Polonnaruwa, Mana, Putlam, Ratnapura, Munaragala, Batiklo, Ampara, Trincomalee, Kilinochchi, Vaunia and Kalutara have been declared national disaster affected areas.
Sri Lanka police said that legal action will be taken against individuals spreading false information on social media networks which could disrupt public peace during the ongoing national disaster crisis. Clarifying the matter, Assistant Superintendent of Police F.U. Woodler, the police spokesperson, clarified this position.
A state of emergency has been imposed by His Excellency the President of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka. The government is committed for services and supplies for the well-being and safety of all citizens of Sri Lanka. It has now been observed by a special desk established by the Criminal Investigation Department around 57 misleading rumors, false and malicious statements against the ongoing operations and commitments by this government. CID, or rather the Criminal Investigation Department, will now take stern legal action against these individuals. Section 20 of the Gazette Extraordinary very clearly states, no person shall, by word of mouth or by any written, electronic, digital, or other means whatsoever, including through any media, information technology, automated system, or artificial intelligence system, communicate, publish, disseminate, or generate any rumor or false statement which is likely to cause public alarm or public disorder. And therefore, the Sri Lanka police urge the public to be very much cautious and vigilant of such malicious statements during this challenging time. And further, we request the public to be more responsible when the entire country must remain united.
A discussion on certain misleading claims being circulated among the public arose during today's budget debate in Parliament.
November 12 වෙනිදා warning එකක් දාලා
Several MPs raised the point today that a warning had been issued on the 12th of November. We all remember that during a recent parliamentary session, they claimed that the Department of Meteorology had issued an official warning and a public advisory, adding that, however, the government failed to act accordingly. I want to state clearly, this claim was created by MP Dilip Jayveera's Derana channel.
හරිද එතකොට එහෙම කරපු
නෙමෙයි මේක කරන්නේ මා බරපතල චෝදනාවක් නේ. ගරු මූලාශ්‍රාවට මන්ත්‍රීතුමනි මේ මන්ත්‍රීතුමිය ඔන්න ඕක තමයි දුෂ්ට දේශපාලනය කියන්නේ. මේ දුෂ්ට දේශපාලනේ වර ගත ප්‍රවේශයම දුෂ්ටයිනේ.
දැන් ඔබතුමා කියපු දේ වැරදි නම් වැරදි කියන්නේ හරි නම් හරි කියන්නේ.
කොහොමද මම ඇවිල්ලා දෙරේ නිවුස් කියන කෙනෙක්ද? මම දෙරේ නිවුස් කියන කෙනාද?
ඔබතුමා එක ප්‍රතික්ෂේප කරනවා.
මේ මූලාශ්‍රාව මන්ත්‍රීතුමනි පොඩක් අහන්න.
එතුමා වැදගත් දෙයක් කියන්නේ නැහැ. සභාපතිතුමනි Dilip Jayveera
MP Dilip Jayveera is shouting in this chamber without any discipline. After a national disaster, such behavior is unacceptable. The point I'm making is this. The claim about a warning on the 12th of November originated from Derana TV, which is associated with MP Dilip Jayveera. He must take responsibility because this is a national tragedy. Today, 366 people are still missing and 465 lives have been lost. In a situation of this magnitude, accountability is critical. The allegation is that a warning on the 12th of November. I believe some MPs have been misled by statements made by MP Dilip Jayveera and his media institution. Therefore, I challenge this House. What exactly was the warning issued on the 12th of November? Who announced it? What did the Meteorology Department say? I am tabling the media discussion aired on Derana on the 12th of November. This was a televised interview where a journalist posed a question and received an answer. Where is the warning in that? I expect MP Dilip Jayveera to clarify this matter. This is all I'm asking. Speaker, this is cheap politics by the opposition, politicizing a tragedy when people are suffering. This is using deaths for political gain. The MP himself said earlier that the Leader of the House's statement was false, exaggerated and misleading. We challenge him. If the opposition claims that this is true, then tell us what was the warning on the 12th of November.
warning එක මොකක්ද කියලා කියන්න. මොකක්ද කියලා කියන්න.
මට පැහැදිලි කිරීම කරන්න දෙන්න ගරු මූලාශ්‍රාව මන්ත්‍රීතුමනි.
ඔබතුමා මේ වෙලාව පැහැදිලි කිරීම කරන්න දැන්.
මූලාශ්‍රාව මන්ත්‍රීතුමනි දැන් එතුමිය කියන කරුණ දෙරණ නාලිකාවේ ඒ කරන ලද සංවාදයක් කාලගුණ විද්‍යා දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවේ ප්‍රධාන නිලධාරී එක්ක කරපු සංවාදයක් අලලයි එතුමිය ඒ ප්‍රකාශය කරන්නේ. එතුමියට ඒ ප්‍රකාශය කරනවා නම් මාව පටලවා ගන්න එපා. එතුමියට පුළුවන් ඒ ප්‍රකාශය කරපු අයට විරුද්ධව කටයුතු කරන්න.
The Minister of Mass Media informed Parliament that a media institution which spread a false claim regarding an early warning on cyclones and heavy rainfall issued on the 12th November has been instructed to immediately correct the misinformation.
එකක් තමයි මේ අවස්ථා තුන පටලවාගෙන
Honourable Speaker, these three separate weather events have been deliberately confused. There is no doubt about it. In the midst of this disaster, they have engaged in what can only be described as disaster politics. Recently, three different situations in the Bay of Bengal, including a depression, were mixed together to create a false narrative. They claimed that a warning was issued on the 12th November and that the government failed to act. This is completely untrue. I want to address that media institution directly. The distorted news you circulated repeatedly has fueled unnecessary controversy. Correct it immediately. You still have time to do so. If Sajith Premadasa, Gayantha Karunatilaka, Harsha De Silva warning was issued on the 12th November, let them table it in Parliament. We do not have such a document. We will present all official government records and include them in the Hansard for transparency.
අජිත් පෙරේරා හෝ හර්ෂ සිල්වා හෝ දයාසිරි ජයසේකර හෝ අලවතුවල හෝ ඕනෑ මන්ත්‍රීවරයෙක් අවිල් අපිට කියන්න අපි ළඟ නැති නිවේදනයක් 12 වෙනිදාට කලින් එහෙම දෙයක් සිදු වුණායි කියලා ඕගොල්ලෝ තියෙනවා එතන ඉදිරිපත් කරන පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ මේ සියල්ල අපි සභාගත කරන හන්සාර් ගත කරනවා.
Department issued a cyclone or heavy rainfall warning on the 12th of November, calling the claim an absolute fabrication. Reviewing official weather reports from the 1st of November onwards, the Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa explained that early bulletins only predicted inter-monsoon showers and thunder showers.
Since the claim is that a warning was issued on the 12th of November, I reviewed all weather reports from the 1st to the 4th of November. Each report only indicated the possibility of showers or thunder showers after 2 p.m. in certain areas of the Sabragamur, Central, Uva and Southern provinces. The Department of Meteorology did not forecast rainfall of 75 millimeters, 100 millimeters or 150 millimeters during this period because it was the inter-monsoon season. It was only on the 6th of November at 2 p.m. that the Met Department mentioned a figure of 75 millimeters of thunder showers. I have all the weather reports for November and none of them indicate such a warning on the 12th. The Met Department never issued the alert that is now being claimed. Despite this, several MPs distorted a statement aired on a certain channel. MP Kabir Hashim even staged a walkout and gave sound bites outside Parliament, attempting to create a narrative that a warning was issued on the 12th of November. This claim has absolutely no basis. Before the 12th, the only mention was 75 millimeters of rain, not a cyclone, a deep depression or anything similar. The situation was first noted in reports on the 14th, when the evening bulletin stated rainfall could increase to 100 millimeters in the northern province and the Trincomalee district. On the 15th, the bulletin reported that turbulence had developed into a low pressure zone. This continued in reports on the 16th and the 17th. On the 18th of November at 2 p.m, the Met Department said that the low pressure zone near the island was gradually moving away and predicted reduced rainfall. That night, they mentioned the possibility of another low pressure zone developing, which was repeated in bulletins on the 19th, the 20th and the 21st. On the 23rd at 5:30 am, the Met Department forecasted around 100 millimeters of rain for the western, Sabragamur, northwestern, northern and southern provinces, as well as the Kandy and Nuwara districts, and 75 millimeters elsewhere, still referring to intermonsoonal conditions. It was only on the 25th of November at 10 am that turbulence was reported, and after this a red alert was issued. On the 26th, rainfall forecasts rose to 150 millimeters, and by evening the bulletin warned the low pressure zone could move northwest. On the 27th, the forecast increased to 200 millimeters for the central, Uva and Sabragamur provinces, and that night the Met Department warned of a cyclone. This is when the name Ditwa appeared. Therefore, the claim that a warning was issued on the 12th of November is an absolute lie.
ගැඹුරු පීඩනාව පත් දක්වා වර්ධනය වෙලා කියලා රාත්‍රියට කියනවා මෙය සුලිකුණාට බවට වර්ධනය වෙලා කියලා එතන තමයි නම එන්නේ. දිත්වා එන්නේ එතන. ඒ නොවැම්බර් 12 කතාව පට්ටපල් බොරුවක්.
From air, land and water, the Sirasa Shakti Sahanayatra flood relief convoy continues its mission on day 6, reaching out to vulnerable communities with life-saving aid.
Hundreds of volunteers, many strangers to each other, arrive at the MTV MBC head office premises and regional centers, working tirelessly with one shared goal: to deliver your generous contributions swiftly to disaster-hit areas. Where roads fail, the skies take over. With the full support of the Sri Lanka Air Force, Sirasa Shakti Sahanayatra flood relief convoy has taken the extraordinary step of airlifting essential supplies to unreachable locations.
Just 24 hours after torrential rains triggered a severe natural disaster, the Sirasa Shakti Sahanayatra flood relief convoys were already on the move to affected regions. 6 dedicated groups are now navigating remote villages across multiple districts in Sri Lanka, while citizens continue to bring aid to our Colombo centres. Today, a group of young innovators introduced a creative and successful solution for delivering essentials to hard-to-reach areas: the bubble wrap pack method. Lahiru Fernando and Birendra Sirivardhana led this initiative and explained its effectiveness.
So we have come up with this new initiative in order to ensure that everybody gets the help that they need. So we have 2 volunteers who are here with us today who have brought this initiative forward and helped us through this process. So Lahiru, I have here with me Lahiru who have helped us with this situation. Would you please explain how we can ensure that these packages are wrapped safely and that it will come to no damage or harm when it is being airdropped from the helicopter to these people in need who need these supplies very badly?
Yeah, so there's about 4 to 5 layers of protection in this package, and so when the requirement came, we tested 6 different ways of wrapping it, and 6 different methods and 6 different ways of assorting the packaging inside, and essentially we came to like a optimal point where we could essentially package everything together and drop it from the rooftop of the news building, and it was perfectly safe the 6th time when we tried that. So we followed that same method, the same order in the packagings that we did today, because it was a 99.9% success rate last night when we tried it. So dropping from 80 feet to tarmac, 99.9% we found success in that. Tomorrow, or rather today, I think, it's going to be dropped from 60 feet onto soil or a little bit of water or, grass. So it's going to be perfectly fine. It's guaranteed to be safe, and it's not going to damage anything inside. And we've taken every measure to make sure nothing breaks, not even a biscuit, nothing is going to be affected. So yeah, we are quite satisfied with how it came out.
It's wrapped in a manner that, as Lahiru explained, ensures that it will survive impact on the hardest ground. And how we intend to get this to families in need is the Air Force will carry approximately 100 to 120 of these, depending on the payload of their helicopter, and release it over some surface that can be accessed, and hopefully they survive, and hopefully then the families can use these to make it until they can either be evacuated or they can leave to get their own supplies.
These specially packed items were transported from the MTV MBC head office to the Katunayaka Air Force Base, ready for aerial drops.
I'm currently reporting to you from the Air Force Base camp here in Katunayaka, where, as you can see behind me, we are dropping off some of the supplies that have been especially packed to be airdropped to some of the areas that cannot be reached by land or by water through the airport, Lanka Airport. Now, these packs have been specifically made and specifically packed and specifically arranged so that these packs duty airdrop.
The Air Force then ensured that these supplies were safely airdropped to the affected zones. The Sirasa Shakti Sahana Yatra flood relief convoys reached Balimada, Uva Paranagama, Yatiyantota and Bulat Kohupitiya, delivering food and hygiene essentials.
Right now I'm here at the Kandy City Centre, and as you can see, these are the donations, these are the goods given by the Kandy people to the people of Sri Lanka who have been suffering from the extreme weather conditions during the past few days. And we have a lot of donations here. If I can show you, these are the donations that we'll be taking to the people who are suffering in Ududumbara, who have been suffering from the extreme weather conditions because of floods and also because of landslides in the Ududumbara area. So this is the very latest situation right here at the Kandy City Centre, and as of now people are bringing in a lot of donations to help Sri Lanka, to help people of Sri Lanka. So this is the very latest situation here. Reporting to you, I am Budbinamal Divakara for Newsfirst. Yesterday evening, aid was distributed to displaced families temporarily sheltered at the Ruwanwella Rajasinghe Central College. In Trincomalee Verugal area, our teams reached disaster-stricken communities while residents in Muthur continue to face severe hardships. Aid was extended to them as well. The mission is strengthened by the Tri-Forces, the Sarvodaya movement, the Sri Lanka Life Saving and the unwavering support of the army under the commander's supervision. Thanks to the trust and strength of the people of Sri Lanka, the Sirasa Shakti Sahana Yatra flood relief convoy has already delivered aid to numerous regions. A special collection centre is now open at the Kanduwatta junction in Galle for your contributions. You can donate lentils, rice, noodles, biscuits, soy meat, canned fish and hygiene items to support this cause. Volunteers continue to join us to sort and pack food items systematically.
Came to help with the community service for the donation itself. Like most of the people they are in the flood situation, so like they can't do A-levels, and most of people have lost their lives. And I have seen like most elephants have died due to this reason. Like animals have gone on pressure. Like, so with all these efforts and stuff, like we all came to from our school itself, like we just came to serve this community.
This is of course the Sirasa headquarters here at Braybrook Place. There's a fantastic system working out here, my friends. If you have donations, drop them off. It goes through an integrally created system where everything happens the way it should be, and it comes out through the factory line and out here where it goes into the trucks and over to the donator, to those that need the donations the most. Come by, we need volunteers. Donations also are welcome. And of course the Sirasa Shakti Sahana Yatra happens right throughout the day and right throughout the night. As long as there are people here working, we will do the work.
Without your overwhelming support from across the country, this massive humanitarian effort would have been impossible. Our collection points remain open at the MTV MBC head office situated in Braybrook Place, Colombo 2, the Depanama Broadcasting Centre and Kandy City Centre.
People from all walks of life are streaming into the MTV MBC head office, united by one purpose: to help those devastated by the floods. In a heartwarming moment, two little children walked in clutching their piggy banks, determined to donate their savings to the Sirasa Shakti Sahana Yatra flood relief convoy. Not far behind, another person arrived with a handful of coins, proof that every contribution, no matter how small, carries immense power when it comes from the heart. Meanwhile, scores of volunteers continue to join us, ready to lend their hands and hearts to this mission of hope and humanity. In more news, joint relief efforts for those affected by the disaster caused by a cyclone Ditwa continued today, and with the participation of Sri Lanka Army, Air Force, Navy, Police and foreign relief teams.
The Sri Lanka Air Force airlifted a group of displaced individuals from Kotmale to Ratmalana Air Force Base. Among the evacuees were patients and vulnerable individuals who were immediately directed for medical treatment through Air Force intervention. The Sri Lanka Army also extended its support to rescue operations in several affected areas. Meanwhile, the Indian National Disaster Response Force or NDRF joined hands with the Sri Lanka Air Force to conduct operations in Kochikade and Padulla. Yesterday, Indian High Commissioner Santosh Jha visited several flood-affected locations in Kohilavatta and Kalinadigama to assess the situation. To assist flood victims, a special medical camp is being operated in Jayala jointly by the Sri Lanka Air Force Medical Team and the Indian Air Force Medical Team. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka Air Force relief collection centres continued functioning today to gather essential supplies for affected communities. The Sri Lanka Navy provided technical assistance to restore water purification plants submerged by floods. Repairs were carried out at Mahiyanganaya and Peradeniya Gatabe water treatment facilities. To meet urgent food requirements, the Sri Lanka Navy's mobile kitchen units were deployed today in Meethotamulla, preparing cooked meals for displaced families. In Vellampitiya's Mahabudgalamuwa, rescue operations were carried out under the leadership of Sri Lanka Army Command Regiment, saving stranded residents.
Several international relief teams arrived in Sri Lanka, bringing much-needed assistance for communities affected by the recent emergency disaster situation. The fourth relief aircraft from the United Arab Emirates landed in Sri Lanka this afternoon, carrying essential supplies for communities affected by the recent disaster. The C-17 military cargo plane operated by the UAE Air Force delivered a consignment officially received by Brigadier Sashindra Vijayasirivardhana of the Sri Lanka Army. The shipment included food stocks, relief materials and rescue vehicles. Yesterday, an Indian Air Force Boeing C-17 Globemaster arrived with medical aid and emergency supplies. The aircraft carried two fully equipped mobile hospitals, complete with ambulances, medical care units and surgical facilities. A Bangladesh Air Force C-130 aircraft arrived with humanitarian aid. The consignment was officially handed over by Bangladesh High Commissioner Andalib Ilyas in the presence of Additional Secretary Mayuri Pereira and other officials. Meanwhile, the Sri Lanka Overseas Chinese Association donated 1 million rupees to support the country's rebuilding efforts. The cheque was accepted by Dharmasri Gamage, Director General of Public Relations for the President's Office.
Apple CEO Tim Cook has expressed solidarity with communities devastated by recent storms and flooding across Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia and Sri Lanka. In a message posted on X, Cook conveyed Apple's concern for those affected and announced that the company will contribute to relief and rebuilding efforts on the ground. Cook wrote, quote, "Storms across Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia and Sri Lanka has devastated communities. At Apple, we are thinking of everyone affected and will be donating to relief and building efforts on the ground." End quote. The announcement comes as thousands struggle with displacement, loss of property and urgent humanitarian needs following severe weather events in the region.
the Sirasa Shakti Sahana Yatra. Sri Lanka needs you. Please donate the following dry rations and help those who need it the most. Rice, dal, noodles, soya meat, canned fish and biscuits. You can hand over these items at the following collection points: the MTV head office, Braybrook Place, Colombo 2, the Deparnama Studio Complex in Panipitiya, the Kandy City Centre in Kandy. For further inquiries, please call 076 552 5000. Together, we can make a difference.
The Met Department has announced that showers are likely across northern, north central, eastern, Uwa and central provinces starting tomorrow as the northeast monsoon gradually establishes over the island. According to the forecast, western and Sabaragamua provinces along with certain areas in Gaul and Mathura districts could experience intense evening showers of up to 75 millimeters. The department further cautions that thunderstorms accompanied by strong winds and lightning may occur during these periods. Residents are advised to take necessary precautions to minimize risks associated with severe weather conditions. The death toll from the cyclone Ditwa disaster has climbed to 479 according to the latest update from the Disaster Management Centre. Reports also indicate that 350 individuals remain missing as rescue and relief operations continue across the country.
The DMC report reveals that 1,614,790 people from 448,817 families are currently affected by the disaster. The highest number of fatalities has been recorded in the Kandy district with 118 deaths, followed by the Nuwara district with 89 deaths, Badulla with 83 deaths, Kurunagala with 56 deaths, K-Gaul with 50 deaths and Puttalam with 29 deaths. Meanwhile, 188,974 people have been displaced and are being sheltered across 1,347 safety centres across the island. The Road Development Authority announced that 95 roads remain blocked, though efforts are underway to clear them within the next few days. Director General of the RDA, Vimal Kandambi, said that engineering teams and officials have already begun clearing operations, adding that 256 roads under the RDA have sustained damage due to the floods and landslides, along with 20 bridges. Railway operations have also been severely affected. Sri Lanka Railways confirmed that train services on the main line are limited to Ambepussa, while services on the Puttalam line are restricted to Kochikade. Several sections have reported flooding and landslides, with some areas suffering extensive damage. Repair work has already begun under an emergency initiative titled Ratata Saviyak Dumriyata Javayak. Teams from the railway headquarters departed for Negombo today to commence urgent restoration work. It is notable that railway employees are volunteering for this project without expecting any benefits, demonstrating their solidarity during this national crisis.
Relief teams backed by the military are now making their way to several disaster-hit areas where access has become nearly impossible due to landslides, mudslides and flash floods in parts of the Central Highlands.
On the 27th of November, a massive landslide struck Udagama in Passara, burying 3 houses under tons of earth. Villagers report that a child and another individual remain missing. This morning, Indian Army personnel joined forces with the Sri Lanka Air Force to launch a combined search operation. Meanwhile, a torrent of water from the Namunukulla Kanda destroyed around 15 houses in Palgahatanna along the Badulla Passara road. Our correspondent reports that residents managed to evacuate before the disaster struck.
ඒ මල්ලි මෙහෙට දිව්වා ඒ ළමයි බේර ගන්න කියලා. ඉස්සරහ ගෙදර නංගි දරුවා අරගෙන ඇවිල්ලා මෙහෙට දීලා අනිත් දරුවෝ දෙන්න ගන්න යනවා. ඒ වතුර පාරට යන්න බෑ. ඒ නංගි රෝල් වෙනවා. ඒ අනිත් දරුවෝ දෙන්න කඩාගෙන අතනින් වැටුණා. අපිත් එරුණා මඩේ. ටේෂොප් එකේ අයියා බෙල්ල ගාවට මෙරිලා තිබ්බා. වතුර පාරට යනවා කියලා මං දුවගෙන ආවා. දුවගෙන එකට මම මුහුදටම දැක්ක මේ ගල ඇවිල්ලා මෙතන ගියත් තිබුණා ඒකේ ගඩුව. වදිනකොටම මේ තත්ත්ව ලෝදියක්. ලෝදිය අරස්සලා කෙලිය මේ බදුලට පැත්තට තිබුණා.
In Hunnaskirya, a landslide from Enamalthota mountain destroyed 2 houses in Nayaktuoya village. Villagers managed to rescue 2 people, but others remained trapped. By yesterday, rescue teams had reached the area despite severe challenges. So far, 4 bodies have been recovered and search operations continue even today. In Ududumbara Gangoda, another landslide claimed 1 more life today, adding to the 15 bodies recovered yesterday, including 3 children. The landslide was triggered by a natural stream overflowing during the heavy rains, causing both banks to collapse. In Pallevelthota, Nil Ambe Galaha, 20 houses were damaged by landslides. Our correspondent confirms that residents had evacuated earlier, but a bus, 3-wheelers and other property were destroyed. Nearby, a mudslide hit several homes near Kurus Junction on the 27th of November, burying multiple people. 2 have been rescued, but the exact number still trapped remains unknown. Search operations are ongoing. In the Paragalapahala area in Navalapitiya, another landslide claimed 1 more life today, bringing the death toll in the area to 13 over the past few days. More than 250 people from 65 families have been displaced and are currently sheltered at the Craighead Tamil School. 5 individuals remain missing. On the 28th of November, in Ibbagamua, Pudukkulama, 6 members of the same family who died in the Aragama mountain landslide were laid to rest this morning at the Hittapitiya Public Cemetery.
Many areas affected by the natural disasters experienced rain-free weather today, offering much needed relief. In regions where floodwaters have receded, residents were seen cleaning their homes and business premises, working tirelessly to restore normalcy.
The Colombo County main road at Pahalakaduganava remains closed to traffic. Efforts to remove rocks that fell onto the road near Verulugola are ongoing with assistance from army personnel and government officials. The road from Bingiriya via Kadigava to Nikavaratia, Anamadua and Adigama was severely damaged by the overflow of Dadroya. Travel remains suspended for several days, while nearby homes have been completely destroyed. The overflow also caused severe damage to Kobeigane, Korakahavatia village, leaving homes buried in sand. Heavy machinery, including backhoes, was deployed to clear debris. In addition to property damage, crop losses have also been reported. The Padiyapalla Nora Elia road was blocked at several points due to heavy rains in Mandaram Nora. Security forces and villagers worked together to restore the road for traffic this afternoon.
In response to the severe impact of Cyclone Ditwa, the United States is providing $2 million in emergency life-saving assistance for people in need in Sri Lanka. U.S. Ambassador to Sri Lanka has said that the U.S. will leverage Department of War's strategic airlift capabilities to support disaster response efforts, working closely with the government of Sri Lanka and relief partners to reach the hardest hit communities.
Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa told Parliament that the proposed budget cannot address the current disaster situation and stressed the need for a new budget. He stated that IMF agreements should be suspended and direct discussions held with the US President. While Premadasa made these remarks, Opposition MP Dr. Harsha De Silva said there is no issue with the allocations to provide relief for those affected by the disaster. Now here are the key comments made in Parliament today.
What is the point of approving this Friday's budget when the country is facing a situation like this? By 10 a.m. today, reports show that over 1.5 million people have been affected by this disaster. What is this joke of passing the same budget we proposed earlier, ignoring this catastrophe? A massive disaster has occurred. A cyclone has struck. Yet we are going ahead with the same old budget. I propose that we take a few more days and present a new budget next week. A budget that provides relief to the people who have faced this tragedy. My second proposal is to immediately convene an international donor conference to secure the necessary assistance. If the government cannot do this, give us the authority. We in the opposition are ready to take the lead and organize this conference together with the government to obtain the required aid for the country. We must also immediately tell the IMF that we need a new agreement. Can we move forward under these harsh IMF conditions while people suffer under this disaster? What a joke. If you cannot speak to the IMF, include us. We will tell them what needs to be said. If you cannot do it, then these conditions must be removed immediately. A massive tragedy has occurred. Destruction is everywhere. And yet, we are working under IMF conditions. This is absurd. Speak to the IMF now and remove these conditions. We in the opposition will support you. We should even write to President Trump and if possible meet him as an all-party delegation to request the removal of reciprocal tariffs. Most importantly, we need to rebuild the country with our economic plan. The economic plan of the Samagi Janabalawegaya Alliance.
බජට් එකේ වියදම් 2025 කරගන්න බැරි වුණා.
The 2025 budget has not been fully spent, so funds remain. Let me be clear. For urgent needs like clearing homes and roads, about 30 billion is available in the treasury right now. Another 20 billion rupees can be sourced from other areas, giving us about 50 billion rupees to spend over the next 4 weeks. So the government has all the money it needs. There are no excuses. Stop issuing circulars and delaying payments. The real challenges will come in 2026 because of the 13% primary expenditure cap under the Public Financial Management Act, which is linked to the IMF agreement. However, under sections 10 and 14 of the Act, we can override this limit if necessary. So, even with the IMF agreement, we have flexibility under the law. Next year, we can spend another 300 to 500 billion rupees on reconstruction and Parliament can approve this without issue. Right now, the Treasury has funds. There is no excuse not to spend. We don't yet know the exact loss and damage figure. Some say $3 billion. The World Bank has commissioned a study and will confirm the exact amount in 2 weeks. If more funds are urgently needed, the Central Bank Act allows us to seek assistance during disasters. So there is no cash problem. What we need is to amend the current budget because the situation today is not what it was before. A new resolution must be presented. If the Cabinet meets today, approve it as an emergency and present it roughly. How can we pass Friday's budget without substantial changes? What are the priorities? Let's understand the seriousness of this issue.
එහෙම කරලා ඇත්ත වශයෙන්ම තේරුම් ගන්න මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ බැරෑරුම් කම.
A week of relentless cyclonic storms has plunged multiple nations across South and Southeast Asia into crisis, leaving a trail of destruction and despair. Foreign media reports confirm that the death toll has already surpassed 1,350, with millions displaced and farmlands devastated.
Sri Lanka witnessed widespread devastation as Cyclone Ditwa, which swept across the island, weakened into a deep depression. The system now hovers around 35 kilometers off the Puducherry coast in northern Tamil Nadu, India. Heavy rains lashed several parts of Tamil Nadu today, prompting Indian meteorological authorities to warn of worsening conditions tomorrow. So far, 4 deaths have been reported in Tamil Nadu, while over 200,000 acres of crops lie ruined. The cyclone's ripple effect has been catastrophic elsewhere. In Indonesia, 1.5 million people are struggling under its impact, with 570,000 displaced and 700 confirmed dead. Alarmingly, more than 400 individuals remain missing. Neighbouring Thailand endured a severe battering last week, recording at least 160 deaths and displacing over 2 million people. The Thai military mounted massive rescue and relief operations to cope with the unprecedented disaster. Vietnam has faced 14 cyclones this year alone, with November floods and landslides claiming over 90 lives. Meanwhile, the Philippines suffered back-to-back cyclones in early November, leaving more than 200 dead and forcing emergency search operations last week. Experts attribute this surge in extreme weather to La Nina, a climatic phenomenon that pushes warm Pacific waters toward East Asia, creating ideal conditions for cyclones and torrential rains. Meteorologists warn that this monsoon season has been one of the most volatile in recent memory, marked by violent storms and unpredictable rainfall patterns.
Few people in this world are willing to give their life for someone else. Yet, every time our nation faces a crisis, we meet such extraordinary souls. During this disaster too, one man stood out, Group Captain Nirmal Siambalapitiya. He spent days tirelessly serving others, and in the final moment, he gave the ultimate gift, his own life, to protect another. If Nirmal were alive today, it would have been the day he received his postgraduate degree.
Today was meant to be one of the most important milestones in Group Captain Nirmal Siambalapitiya's life, the day he received his postgraduate degree. Instead, the lifeless body of Nirmal Siambalapitiya rests at his home in Ratmalana. A hero who gave his life to protect thousands during the recent disaster now lies in eternal silence as the nation mourns his sacrifice. Among those who came to pay their final respects was Professor Indika Karunatilaka, Vice-Chancellor of the University of Colombo. The Vice-Chancellor arrived carrying Group Captain Siambalapitiya's postgraduate certificate, a symbol of the achievement he never lived to celebrate. In a deeply emotional moment, the certificate was presented to his grieving wife, honoring a man whose courage and dedication will never be forgotten.
Newsfirst, main sponsor.
Valuable FD, the symbol of stability. Valuable FD, the symbol of stability.
MP Ravi Karunanayake asserted that during the period of the controversial Treasury bond issue, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka was under the purview of Ranil Wickremesinghe, while state-owned and commercial banks fell under the responsibility of Kabir Hashim. Karunanayake emphasized that none of these subjects were under his authority during his tenure as Minister of Finance, countering recent remarks made by the Prime Minister.
Honourable Speaker, I rise to bring a notice on a serious matter concerning a violation of my rights and seek your leave to make a personal explanation in terms of Standing Orders 27(8). I must confess at this moment, Honourable Prime Minister, there's no relevance at all to you. It's only a rectification of an injustice that has happened to me, and I would like to hear that. So it's not a privilege, but only a personal explanation. Honourable Speaker, on the 26th of November 2025, during answers given to the House relating on to the 2015 Treasury bond issue, a matter pending before court for nearly 5 years, the Honourable Prime Minister made a statement that had effect of attributing a ministerial responsibility to me in a manner that is factually incorrect, misleading and damaging to my reputation as a Member of Parliament. In her response, the Honourable Prime Minister stated that her position regarding those responsible for central bank bond transactions was based on recommendations contained in the report of a Presidential Commission of Inquiries. Although that is precisely the second question posed to the Honourable Prime Minister, she, instead of answering the same, has unfortunately stated something else. Even though she did not expressly say that the central bank came under the Minister Ravi Karunanayake, the clear implication of her answer, particularly when citing the Presidential Commission of Investigation, was that I bore ministerial responsibility for central bank and its actions during that period. This implication is entirely incorrect unsupported by the Presidential Commission of Inquiry, and directly contradicted by the official Gazette notification issued under Article 44(1) of the Constitution. And I think it is time that I got to rectify this, and I appreciate the question that was answered. According to the Prime Minister's response, I was described as the Minister in charge of Finance during the time of the alleged bond transaction, suggesting that ministerial authority over commercial banks rested with me. This is false. It is misrepresents my official role, misleads the House, and prejudices ongoing judicial proceedings. Honourable Speaker, at no point during my tenure as Minister of Finance I was assigned the subject of Central Bank of Sri Lanka. The first time I'm publicly mentioning this. At no given time I was assigned the subject. The Constitution and Administrative Record Gazette is unambiguous. The Central Bank has historically and at all times been under the Minister of Finance, except exceptionally during the period where I held that office. I did not exercise ministerial oversight over the Central Bank, the Monetary Board, or its regulatory actions during my tenure. Ministerial oversight on Central Bank had been assigned to Prime Minister and the Minister of National Policies and Economic Affairs, Honourable Ranil Wickremesinghe. Cabinet records, Gazette notifications and administrative circulars confirm this position beyond any doubt. Similarly, commercial banks at time in question fell under the purview of Minister of Public Enterprises, Honourable Kabir Hashim. His portfolio included state banks, commercial banks, Bank of Ceylon, People's Bank, National Savings Bank, SME Bank and bank governing functions. Honourable Speaker, I must acknowledge that former President, and I acknowledge with thanks, Honourable President Ranil Wickremesinghe on many occasions has spoken of this matter, and the last being 2nd of May 2025 on a media interview which he very categorically assumed that he was fully in responsibility. I must also say that Honourable Sunil Handunhetty also was the chairman of COPE. He also would bear testimony to what I was basically saying. Honourable Speaker, in conclusion, the Honourable Prime Minister stated that her answer was grounded on the recommendations contained in the report of Presidential Commission of Inquiry. This is factually incorrect and misleading, for Presidential Commission of Inquiry in the entire report did not find me guilty of anything or find me wanting in any way whatsoever. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Sri Lankan Sandra de Soysa has been named among global top 40 CX leaders.
Sandra de Soysa, Group Chief Customer Officer at Dialog Asiata PLC, has been recognized as one of the top 40 future of CX leaders by CX Network, a global platform spotlighting innovators shaping the next era of customer experience. The list celebrates visionaries, game changers and industry leaders who are redefining how organizations anticipate and respond to evolving customer expectations. Sandra's inclusion highlights her pioneering work in driving customer-centric strategies, inspiring teams and leveraging technology to enhance engagement and loyalty. CX Network emphasized diversity in its selection, featuring leaders across regions and industries to reflect the universal importance of customer experience in today's business landscape.
And that's a wrap of your news for tonight.
Thank you for watching. Good night.